Dubai, the city of dreams, is slowly sinking. Not in a Hollywood disaster way, with screaming crowds and collapsing skyscrapers, but millimeter by millimeter, year after year. It's subtle, almost invisible to the eye, but it's happening. Today, we'll uncover why this is happening, what it means for the city, and how engineers are trying to keep everything standing tall. Stay tuned. This is the hidden crisis of a dream city. What does sinking mean? When we say Dubai is sinking, we don't mean it's disappearing tomorrow. We mean the ground is slowly settling. Engineers call this subsidence. It sounds technical, but it's basically the soil pressing down under weight. Much of Dubai's coastline was man-made. Huge amounts of sand and rock were dumped into the sea to create new land. It looks solid, but sand behaves differently than natural rock. Over time, it compacts and the surface lowers. Think of it like filling a jar with popcorn. At first, it looks full, but shake it a little, and everything settles lower. That's what happens under Dubai's towers and villas. And here's the kicker. Even natural desert land isn't immune. Soft sands can shift under heavy loads. So whether it's reclaimed land or desert soil, the city is always negotiating with gravity. The Palm Jumeirah is one of Dubai's most famous landmarks. From above, it looks like a giant palm tree stretching into the sea. Luxury villas, hotels, beaches, it's a dream. But that dream rests on sand. And sand doesn't behave like concrete. Waves and currents slowly move the sand. Engineers built massive rock walls called breakwaters to protect the island. They work, but inside the palm, the sand still sinks and compacts. Residents notice small signs, cracks in walls, roads that need constant repair. The government spends millions each year on maintenance, adding sand to beaches, reinforcing breakwaters. Without this, the palm would slowly lose its shape. It's like owning a sports car. Amazing to look at, fun to drive, but you're in the garage every month. And sometimes, even after repairs, the car still rattles. That's the palm. Glamorous, but high maintenance. When the palm was first announced, investors rushed to buy plots before the sand was even in place. Some villas sold out in hours, but after the global financial crisis in 2008, many projects stalled. Empty plots sat waiting, and half-finished resorts became symbols of ambition colliding with reality. Even today, some parts remain underdeveloped, showing that engineering challenges aren't the only thing sinking. Sometimes it's the economy too. Dubai's skyline is breathtaking. The Burj Khalifa rises over 800 meters. But all that weight has to rest somewhere. And in Dubai, that somewhere is often sand. To keep towers stable, engineers use deep foundations, giant concrete piles drilled far into the ground until they reach stronger layers. This helps, but even then, small movements happen. Imagine putting a heavy book on a sponge. The sponge squishes down. Now imagine putting the world's tallest building on that sponge. You'd probably want to check on it more than once a year. That's why engineers constantly monitor settlement. A few millimeters of uneven sinking can cause cracks or stress in a building. Dubai's skyline isn't just ambition. It's a balancing act between weight and soil. The Burj Khalifa's foundation uses over 190 piles, each more than 50 meters deep, anchored into the ground. That's like planting a forest of concrete trees under the tower. Without them, the building would tilt like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And speaking of Pisa, imagine if Dubai's tallest tower leaned even a few degrees. It would be the most expensive tourist attraction nobody wants to live in. If you enjoy learning about the secrets behind megaprojects and don't want your knowledge to sink like Dubai's sand, hit that subscribe button. It's cheaper than hiring an engineer and way more fun. Water under the ground also plays a role. Beneath reclaimed land sits the water table, the level of groundwater. If pressure is too high, soil gets weaker. If it's too low, sand shifts. Both cause sinking. Engineers install drainage systems to control this pressure. Pipes and pumps move water out, keeping soil stable. It's like running an aquarium. You're constantly adjusting the water level. Add rising sea levels, and the problem grows. Even a few centimeters more water means stronger waves and more pressure on seawalls. Dubai has miles of engineered coastline, and every meter needs protection. And storms? They don't need to be hurricanes to cause trouble. Even moderate surges can push water into reclaimed land, stressing drainage systems. It's a constant tug of war between engineers and the sea. Scientists using satellites have measured parts of Dubai sinking by a few millimeters per year. That doesn't sound like much, but combine it with rising seas, and suddenly you've got a double problem. The land goes down while the water goes. For residents, sinking doesn't look dramatic. It shows up in small ways. A crack in the wall, a door that doesn't close, a road that dips like it's auditioning for a roller coaster. These signs are easy to fix at first, but they keep coming back. For homeowners, it means extra costs. For the city, it means endless maintenance. It's like having a leaky faucet. You can tighten it again and again, but eventually you'll need a full replacement. One homeowner joked that his villa doors were so misaligned, he had to choose between locking the front door or opening the back one. Another said her swimming pool seemed to tilt slightly, making the water line uneven. These aren't disasters, but they're everyday reminders that living on reclaimed land means living with quirks. Dubai doesn't just sit back. Engineers fight back with a full toolkit. First, they strengthen the ground. Machines press sand tighter, making it more solid. Second, they protect the coast. Breakwaters are reinforced with bigger rocks. Beaches are nourished with fresh sand. Seawalls are raised higher to block waves. Third, they monitor everything. Satellites and sensors measure tiny movements, sometimes just a few millimeters. If they spot trouble, they act fast. It's like having a kid who keeps rolling out of bed. You add pillows, put up a guardrail, and check all night. That's what engineers do to keep Dubai standing. And sometimes, they even over-engineer solutions, because in Dubai, too much is never enough. Building fast is exciting. It brings headlines and tourists, but it also means paying for maintenance later. Dubai spends millions each year on coastal protection and foundation monitoring. Climate change adds pressure. Rising seas, stronger storms, hotter weather. The smartest choice is to plan for upgrades from the start. Think of it like a subscription. You pay a little every month instead of one giant bill later. And here's the irony. The same ambition that built Dubai's wonders also creates its biggest bills. The city wanted to be the tallest, the flashiest, the most luxurious, and it succeeded. But now it has to pay the price of keeping those dreams afloat, literally. Dubai once planned another mega project called the World Islands, a cluster of islands shaped like a map of the world. Some were built, but many remain empty, partly because of costs and maintenance challenges. Imagine owning Greenland or Brazil as your private island, only to find out it needs constant sand refills just to stay above water. It's a reminder that ambition can be bigger than practicality, and Dubai isn't alone. Other cities face similar problems. Jakarta in Indonesia is sinking so fast that parts of the city drop more than 10 centimeters per year. Venice in Italy has battled subsidence for centuries, with rising seas flooding its famous canals. Even New Orleans in the United States has struggled with sinking land and storm surges. Compared to them, Dubai's sinking is slower, but the lesson is the same. When humans build big dreams on soft ground, nature always has the final say. Dubai's sinking is slow, but real. it shows that even the biggest dreams must respect nature. The city has built wonders that amaze the world, but those wonders rest on fragile ground. Every crack in a villa wall, every road that dips, every beach that needs more sand is a reminder that ambition always comes with a bill. And yet, Dubai is also proof of human determination. Engineers, planners, and workers fight back every day with pumps, piles, rocks, and sensors. They refuse to let the sea win easily. It's a constant battle, but one that shows how far people will go to protect their dreams. If you like this story, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to Megaphiles TV. Tell us what you want next: a collapsing bridge, a failed dam, or maybe the scandal of a billionaire with a yacht so big it needs its own parking lot. Your ideas steer our next episode, hopefully straighter than Dubai's sinking roads.